Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start. But before we do, just a reminder, let's just try to maintain good posture throughout the class. That means you roll your shoulders and settle your shoulders down your back. You keep that chicken thing, neck thing from happening. So you pull your shoulders in line with your ears in line with your shoulders as much as you can. You watch that your knees aren't bowing in. You're creating a little space. Okay, pull your pelvic floor muscles up and try to keep the hips from tucking way under or pushing way back. So pull that navel in and keep a neutral spine. Well, let's go ahead and start moving the body, getting the blood and the core temperature up and just loosening up. So we're going to shrug the shoulders up as we lift the knee. So up and down. Now let's roll the shoulders. So pull the shoulders back. Roll. All the while keeping your balance on the floor. You feel weight even on your foot. 4, 3, 2 more. Bringing that thigh up. Now let's give me bigger arms, circling the elbows back. Yes. Hi, Julie. Good, 2 more. Keep the leg motion going, even bigger arms, up and circle. So thumbs go back and then they turn out. Good. Lift. All the while, your trunk is tall. 2 more. 2, 1, and release. Now let's do some opening of the hip. So again, whichever foot you stay on, you try to stay as balanced as you can. Julie, you can come up closer. Okay. All right. Roll and open. Roll and open. Again, the middle of your body is the tree trunk. The arms and the legs are the branches. They can move. And there are no cicadas on these branches. They're almost gone. I went to Illinois and Missouri this weekend. No cicadas anywhere. Crazy. Let's reverse this. So open and close. Now you're hugging on the way in, but you're staying tall. Your ears, shoulders, and hips are in line. Good. See how your balance is today. It's okay. If you're not feeling it, just work on it. All right. Move that around. The side view is just lifting those heels. Let's just pump the arms here. Getting movement in the knee, even pushing the hips out. Good. And let's punch those arms now. Get some pistons going. And push them a little higher. Letting the elbows come back as you pull in. Following the line of the hands there, coming back to center. Keep pedaling here. And even lower. And pause. Widen those legs out. Arms down. And now we're going to start reaching at a diagonal, lengthening up the sides. So we're going to reach, reach. Good. Adding a little bit of a bend in the middle. Palm faces down as you reach. Now let's add a little bit of rotation here. So reach across the body. And as you do this, stay tall, lifting your opposite heel. So right hand reaches and the right foot comes up as you go towards the left. Good, 4 more. Now put your hands on your hips and let's get those hamstrings warmed up, stretching the quads in front. Lift, lift. Now slow arms here. You're going to pull back and press. Pull. As you do this, shoulder blades come together. 4. Pulling that heel towards you. 2. And 1. just shake that out. All right, we're going to practice a movement that we're going to keep using throughout this class and in the future. So I want you to just stand in that neutral position, okay? Pelvic floor, lifting, ears, shoulders, hips in alignment. And now you're going to put your hands right on the tops of the thighs and use them as support. As your tailbone pushes back and you hinge forward from the hip, your hands slide down and then you come back up. Now, knees stay soft, but the legs are long and come back up. Now, as you do this, are you keeping your shoulder blades pushed back, your tailbone back, and your head just coming along? Now, I want you to engage the back a little bit now. As you hinge forward, press your hands into your thighs, push, 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 and feel that back engagement, and then softly come up. So push, push, push. Shoulder blades are engaging. They're pushing down the back. 2 more. Push, push, push into those legs. Feel that tension. 1 more. Push, push, push. And come up. All right, move that around. Now let's take that same hinging concept with the straight line, the whole body coming down the straight line, to stretch the hamstring and really work this supporting leg. So we're going to be strengthening and stretching. So I'd like you to put your weight, again, I'm just turning to the side so the camera can see me a little bit. I'd like you to put your weight on your left leg and take your right leg out in front. Your heel is on the ground, and think of that same hinge we just did, and let's get into that low position by pushing your hands down your legs. And once you get to this low position, hold the navel in, really lengthen the shoulders down your back, and now put both hands on this supporting leg. Now you're going to get more work for this back leg and this posterior chain here by pushing your tailbone down and back a little bit more as you flex the foot in front. And if you're tensing the quadricep and the kneecap of your right leg, I want you to soften that up and let the weight really sink back into that back leg. Holding here. Now, without changing anything in this motion, I want you to tap the toe and flex. Tap and flex. Nothing else is moving. You want to go even a little further with that back leg, bend it a little bit more. Now hold that toe down, sink just a little further, all the weight is going back. And now you're going to roll up through your back and come to a standing positioning, opening those shoulders up. Shake that out. And let's go to the other side. So let's plant the right leg now, extend that left leg, see that your feet are going linear out in front, and start pushing those hands and those thighs and get yourself down, 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 and then shift both hands to that bent leg. Shoulder blades are down, navel is in, really flex that foot, and bend a little bit more into that back leg. You're really loading this left leg. If your upper back starts to want to hunch and you're getting tired, just lift the body up a little bit more and drop the shoulder blades back down. Now let's add a toe here. So point and flex. Point, staying low if you can. Body is at a diagonal. Point and flex. Now drop that toe. Sink a little further. And let's roll it up and come to standing. Good. Shake that out. All right, now we're going to do the leg whips that we did the other day. We're really going to engage the back of the leg here. It doesn't get as much use as the front of the legs and the hips. We're going to just start small. Let our arms kind of circle and help us with balance. We're just going to lift the leg and just brush it on the floor. Don't worry too much about how you're doing it yet. Just brush the foot and pause. Start pausing at the top. Flex the foot at the top. Good. And now let's try whipping quickly. We're going to whip and pull it up. Whip, pull it up. This is tough to keep your balance. Whip. I don't know where Tara is. Her son's the track star who does this all the time. 2 more. Whip. And whip. And down. Good work. Good job. Move that around. Jan and Mary, if you guys need a middle fan, you can get it going if you're getting a little warm. All right. Weight is on the other leg now. And let's bring the leg up and just start brushing it softly. Just get that circular bicycle motion going. Start flexing the foot. And then let's try to whip and pause. Notice any difference? I'm on my left leg now. I'm very wobbly on my left leg. Now I'll start my hopping. 4, 3, 2, here we go, and 1. That's tough. Move that around. Okay. Feet under our hips, hip to shoulder width apart. Watch the wobbly knees in, keep that space out. And as our tailbones go back, like they did before, but now we're doing them together, both legs are going to bend and squat. You're going to reach out in front and then pull it back in. Now, as you reach, you're not reaching so far that your shoulder blades are coming apart and you're hunching and reaching. You're keeping those shoulder blades pulled back. Eyes are glancing up at a diagonal with the hands. Now we're going to go slowly for 3. 1, 2, weight back on the heels and press up through those heels. Down, 2, 3, press up. You decide how low you go. 2, 3. Try to keep those knees from bowing in on the way down. 1, 2, 3. And on this last one, we're going to go down for 3. 1, 2, and you're going to pause here. Pull those shoulder blades back. Gaze is forward. And if you can go even further, come on down. Toes are up. Heels are back. 4, 3, 2, 1. And bring that up. Move that around. I am sweating. Anybody else hot? Whoa. Combination of the heat outside and the heat in here. Okay, we are going to do a sequence like we did the other day, not the same one, but we're going to use the wall. So you decide where, Elizabeth, if you want to come to this wall, you can. Just get some wall space that you can face the wall and just have your fingertips on the wall, okay? And you're actually going to face the wall, and that it's okay that you're right there by those bars. I'm going to angle the camera just slightly differently, just so you can get a slightly diagonal view here. Okay. Now I want you close enough to the wall that you're not leaning into it, but far enough that your chest isn't scrunched up into it. So just a gentle touch with the fingertips on the wall, settling yourself down into that neutral spine position. Good. Now you're going to keep yourself tall. As your legs kick out behind at an angle, you're not going to let the body lean into the wall. Okay, that's your goal, is to stay tall. So let's point the right foot behind us. Pull the navel in because that automatically hinged you forward a little bit. So right here, if you've got a long leg behind, you're stretching this hip muscle in front, and you're going to start using the glute muscles in your rear end here. All right, so we're just gonna kick straight back and tap it down. Kick straight back and tap. And notice how you can't go very far if you're not bending forward. So just a small lift, good. 4 and down, pull that in. Shoulder blades down, arms relax. 2, 1. Now we're gonna take it a 45-degree angle, out at an angle. Lift. So you should feel the rear end just working slightly differently. Some outer muscles coming into play here. So lift at a diagonal, lift, 2 more, 2, 1 more, and pause. Now what I'd like you to do is alternate those 2 motions. So we're gonna go straight up and tap, diagonal and tap. Up, tap, diagonal, tap. Straight back, diagonal, 1 more round, navel's in, push, and out, and down. And move that around. We're coming back to that side, but not until we go and do the left side now, okay? I'm trying to get myself even on this screen. All right, so gentle touch on the wall. Point that left leg behind you. Feel that left hip open. Navel pulls in. And let's start lifting straight behind us. So lift and tap down. Lift and down. I have more limited motion on this side, so do what you can. Long toe, tap down. Lift. If you want to try to release some of that from the wall and balance a little bit more, go ahead. 1 more. And pause here. Center yourself. Now diagonal. Let's go. Lift and tap. Lift. Feel that outer hip and pushing. Good. Rear end really squeezing. Eyes looking straight forward. Lift. Last 2. Let's see now if we can go straight into alternating. So straight back, up and down, angle, up, down, angle. 2 more rounds, straight up, down, angle. 1 more, bellies are in, lift, down, angle, and release. Good work, move that around. Everybody feel that? Okay, everybody's quiet, nobody's groaning. All right, now, before you turn around, let me explain. We're gonna lift that right leg back up behind us, flex the foot, and then you're gonna pull the heel towards your seat without letting that knee drop back down. That'll be the trick to keep that knee lifted. So right leg taps out behind, engage your core, flex the foot now, and pull in and out. In and out. Keep it back. Don't let that knee drop at all. Eyes are straight forward. There you go. Lift. Lift. Now let's slow it down. Really slow squeeze in. Slow squeeze press. Foot stays flexed the whole time. 2 more. Lift and down. Lift and down. And move that around. And you all are used to doing that sometimes on all 4s when you have to worry about the belly sagging. We're doing the same thing in this upright position because I thought it'd be a nice variation and it will take some pressure off the wrists and hands from being on all 4s. All right, shoulders down, left leg behind, point that toe to start, get yourself set. Now lift and flex the foot and start pulling and pressing. Pulling and pressing. Now don't angle the body out, hips stay facing forward, good. Pull. Now let's go slowly without the tempo. So slow pull in. Is your knee behind you? Slow pull in. 2 more. Lift. One more. Lift and lower. Excellent. Move that around. All right, while we're at the wall, we're going to use it to get a little bit of movement in the ankle and the calf and the shin. So what I'd like you to do is take your right leg, keep it long, and flex the foot up the wall with your heel down. Keep the back of the knee straight. And then I want you to just kind of lift up on that back foot a little bit and lean towards the wall without bending that inner leg. And you should feel a long stretch up the back of that leg. Does everybody feel that? Good. You can go a little deeper by just coming a little closer to the wall and pushing up on that back foot. Now release that down. Let's bend both knees and let the knee go towards the wall with the heel staying down still. So both legs are bent, eyes are forward, chest is up, and just bend here. And release. That stretched your Achilles tendon and it really made the shin pull in and short. All right, let's go to the left side now. Long leg, flex that foot up. Back foot is set on the ground, shoulders down. Lift up on that back leg and slightly lean towards the wall. The whole body goes in as the leg stays straight. So straight leg here. And you can even walk that toe up the wall a little bit more if you can get more movement in the ankle. And now let that pressure down a little bit and let's bend both knees in. And just again, just lean into the wall a little bit. Holding here. And bring that up. All right, and while we've got the support of the wall, let's go ahead and stretch the quad and the hip a little bit more. Balance on the leg closest to the wall. Drop the kneecap down. Bring the foot up behind you. And then decide, are you able to grab a foot? If so, grab it. And then straighten yourself back up. Pull the navel in. Try not to hyperextend the back like this. And those of you that want to work more on balance, you can let this arm drift up. Palm faces towards the center of the room. Holding. You want more balance work? Close your eyes. And release and pull that leg up in front. And pull it up towards the chest and just roll the foot one way. You put a lot of pressure and stress on that lower leg, so let's loosen it up, other direction. And release. Everybody just turn, face the other way. Gentle touch. Bend the outside leg behind you. Grab it if you can, and then let the kneecap go back down. And make sure the supporting leg, you have a long leg, but you have a soft knee. And you're going to decide if that hand can release and reach up towards the ceiling. Pausing here. And bring that down, and then go ahead and bring the leg up in front. Decide if you need support on the wall or if you want to balance yourself as you roll the foot. Are your shoulders shrugging up? If they are, drop them down. Other direction. And release. Okay, good work. Now, those of you that do not like to come down onto your knees for push-ups, stay up, find a flat wall that you can easily come in and out of. Everyone else, if you want to come down for push-ups, you can, either on your knees or on your toes. So we've got options here. But we're going to keep the same rule. Ears, shoulders, and hips in alignment, regardless of which position you choose. I try to start on my toes, and my shoulder starts hurting, or I get tired, I shift down to my knees. So do what works for you. Bellies are in, shoulder blades down. Let's go. Inhaling on the way down. Exhale up. Down. Up. Keep those bellies up and heads up. Good. Lift. Down. Slow it down for 3. We're going down, 2, 3. Push it up. Get that head in line with the back. 2, 3. Push it up. Down. 2, 3. Push it up. One more. Down. 2, 3. And press. And just stretch back. Now just pause here for a moment. Those of you on the wall, just follow my cues using the wall as support. Let's walk our hands over the right and let your left hip just push out. So bend your knees a little bit there on the wall and just push your left hip out. Good. Walk your hands to the center. Let's anchor on the left side of the mat and push that right hip out. And bring that up. And let's come up on our knees here. And even though we're not on our feet, we're balancing on our knees in that same linear, good neutral position. We're going to place one hand on each rear end cheek there, behind our hips. And our elbows are going to just reach towards each other, opening the chest. And you are going to do a little bit of a back bend, letting your eyes glance upward as your belly pushes out. And you're just going to pause here and breathe a couple times. Can your elbows go a little bit farther together? Can you bend just a little bit more, maybe glancing up the ceiling? And then bring it to center. Okay, now we're all going on our mats now. We're going to be on our backs. All right, let's get ourselves even on the mat. If you ever feel your back kind of squished in and uncomfortable, kind of walk the shoulder blades out, settle them down, and then get your hips even. And I'd like everybody just to take their feet all the way down to start. Separate the legs, and let's do our windshield wipers where our toes go in and then our toes go out. And you just feel everything in the thigh, the knee, the lower leg, the ankle, the foot, just moving in and out. All right, pause and walk the legs back to center and take the right leg and pull it in towards the chest. And once you've done this, soften the back, keep the collarbone open, even though you're using your arms in front of you to hold the leg up. And you're just gonna pause here and then pull the knee a little bit further. Slightly nod the chin forward so your head relaxes on the mat. And now you're gonna flex the right foot, flex the left foot, and hover the left foot above the ground and curl up by pulling the navel in and letting your head lift just a little bit towards that leg. Holding here, navel is engaged. Now we're going to start shifting the legs and we're going to switch like little bicycles without breaking this good form here. So with the feet flexed, I want you to switch legs, hug the other one. Switch legs, hug the other one. Controlled here. Flex those feet. If your head gets too heavy, you can put a little hand on it or drop it back down. Navel's pulled in, feet are both flexed, leg hovers right above the ground. Good, couple more. And the next time your left leg is into the body, settle your body back down into the mat, drop that right leg, and let's just focus on pulling that knee towards your chest. Just a soft foot. And release that. And drop that leg once again. And take the arms overhead. Palms face each other, thumbs are towards the floor. And point the toes. Push the laces and the tops of the shoes away as you lengthen up the fingers and out through the toes. And now as you breathe, feel your belly, your ribs, and your chest fill with air. And as you exhale, maintain that length, but just let that breath out. Couple more. Every time you inhale, reach a little farther out in both directions. One more. And then soften the feet, let the arms come back down to the sides. And we're gonna do our inner leg sequence, really engaging the core here to keep your body stable while you do this. So I'd like the left leg to come on the ground. Your right foot stays out, but right away you tilt it to the right. So I want you to pull your left hip bone, your navel in, and keep your hips and pelvis even. Hover the right leg off the ground, flex the foot, and turn the toes towards the right without letting your left hip bone shift at all. So turn that leg in, drop the arms down to the sides. They can push a little for support, and you're just gonna lift the leg to knee height and back down. As you do this, your foot stays turned out to the side, and you keep the body even on the mat. Now stop at knee height. Let's bring those arms up for extra levers. Push the shoulder blades into the mat. And as the leg goes down, the thumbs drift above you on the ground. If you can tap the thumbs, great. If you can't, just go as far as you can. Pull back up. Don't let the head go with you. I cocked my head back. Keep your head forward and your neck and your head just relaxed on the mat. As you open the body up, can you keep that navel pulled in and the core engaged to help stabilize and control this movement? Two more. One more. You're going to pause here with the leg hover, drop the arms back down to the sides, and you're just going to give me little pulses here. Are you starting to tilt to your right because you're getting tired? Pull that navel back in, pull the left hip back down. 4, 3, 2, 1, and release that all the way down. And just wiggle both legs on the ground. Anybody feel anything there? Okay. Kelly's always the volunteer to say yes. All right, the trick really is, can you keep your whole body from turning in that direction? That's what's working your core as that inner leg. The groin area is really working. All right, let's take our right leg up now on the ground. Hover the left leg, flex the foot, turn the toes out to your left, and then let's pull that right hip back into place. Arms start low on the ground, and just start lifting to that knee height. There's no need to go much further because you're going to start using momentum and other muscles if you try to go much higher. And let's check in with the upper body. I'm tensing my jaw and I'm tensing my back. I don't want to do that. So soften that up, nod your chin forward, and pause with the legs straight out in front. Arms come up, shoulder blades push down into the mat, and they stay there throughout the motion. And as the leg goes down, the arms go out to the side this time, hovering above the ground, pulling back in, keeping the back engaged in the mat. Keeping that right side of the body down as you breathe. Exhale as you pull up. Inhale out. 4 more. Really starting to feel this. If you're going slow and that foot is flexed. 2 more. 1 more time. Hold it here. Drop the hands back down and give me little pulses. Pulse without tilting to the left. That's the trick. 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring that down. Woo! All right, move that around. Now we're going to stretch some of those inner thigh muscles by bringing a butterfly on the ground and letting our knees open up. So feet are towards each other or touching if they can. And notice that as your knees go out, your back kind of arches up off the mat. I want you to go back into that neutral spine. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to push that lower back all the way to the ground, but it means you get back into your neutral position, navel's pulled in. Hands are going to come gently to the side of your head. And as your legs are stretching and maybe you pull the heels up just a little closer towards you, you're going to inhale and exhale, curl up. Movement comes from the top this time.
Attention YMCA members and guests. Can Angela Harder please come to the play and learn? Angela Harder to the platform. Thank you.
Lift and lower. Navel pulls in, ribs get closer to that pelvis. 4 more. 3, head is just coming along. 2, and 1. Good work. Close those legs up and let's pull them both in towards the chest. And as the legs separate a little bit, let's once again make slow circles, but maybe a little bit bigger than before. Really deliberate, large circles. And then switch directions. And let's do our hamstring stretch, inner thigh, inner knee stretch sequence, where we bring the legs close in. Our hands are on the outsides of our thighs, and our elbows are just going to kind of drop down as tripods. You've got a hold of the legs as you start flexing your feet up towards the ceiling or the slight diagonal, helping with your hands a little bit here. Nod the chin, soften the back, open the collarbone, and just push the feet out through the heels as you flex those feet. Straightening the backs of the knees. Keeping the length in the back of the leg as you point your toes now and pause here. And with the toes pointed, open the legs up, let the legs fall into the hands, helping support there. Once again, flex the feet, push the heels out, and try to lengthen the inner part of the knee. So the insides of the knees are lengthening. Soften the feet, close the legs back up, and let's drop 1 foot at a time. And let the knees fall towards me, and just gently push yourself up to sitting. And I'd like you to sit comfortably, okay? Nice and tall. dropping those shoulders down. We're gonna get some thoracic rotation. It means just rotating the spine while we stay tall. I want you to inhale the arms up. And then as you exhale, just drop them to the side. Inhale back up. Drop them to the other side. Your head stays right over your hips. And just keep breathing like this. This time we're going to inhale tall. Let the arms drop to the right and stay there. Our left hand is on our right thigh. Our right arm is right behind the hips now. Walk it in. Kind of as a second spinal column. You're going to inhale tall and exhale, rotating your head, looking back over that shoulder. So with every inhalation, you grow a little taller. With every exhalation, your hand pulls on the thigh just a tad bit more, and your navel pulls over towards the right side. Going a little bit further with each breath. And then soften that, inhale yourself back to center. And let's exhale and pause on the left side, letting that left hand come close to the hip. Right hand is on the left thigh. You're going to inhale tall. Exhale, rotate, looking over that shoulder. And pausing with the breath. Going tall on the inhalation. And exhaling the navel a little further towards the left with every exhalation. Soften that up and inhale back to center. And exhale, letting yourself hinge forward and letting the hands drop on the ground. You can softly round your back and just walk those arms out. Navel pulls in. Feel those shoulder blades and those ribs expand in your back body. And just pause here with the fingers on the floor and just breathe here. Maybe trying to push your hips back a little bit with each breath. Walk your fingers slowly towards your legs and come up. And let's sit with the arms soft on the legs. Let the right ear come towards the right shoulder as the left hand presses away towards the mat. Inhaling, bringing the ear a little further, and exhale, dropping the shoulder a little bit farther, creating as much space as you can between the left ear and the left shoulder. And bring the head back to center, hand back on the leg. Just rotate that left shoulder back. And then soften everything down again, but still sitting tall. Ear comes towards the left as the arm goes away towards the right. Pausing and breathing into that space between the right ear and the right shoulder. Inhale the head back, bring the arm back to the leg, and roll that right shoulder back. And then let's just hover the hands. They actually don't have anything to do with the core, but we're going to stretch those hands. Soften and make a soft fist. Open the fingers wide. Close the fist. Open wide and hold this here. Stretching the hands that are always curled in. Get a lot of stress. And then wiggle the fingers. And then let's just soften the shoulders, grow up tall through the crown of the head. And let's take a final breath in and exhale. Okay, excellent work, everybody. Thanks for coming.